Abundance flows to me. Abundance is one of the most misunderstood energies in the spiritual world. People hear the word and immediately think of wealth, success, or material gain. But true abundance begins long before any of that for most of us. Abundance is a frequency, a capacity, a way of being that opens when your spirit is aligned, your energy is clear, and your path is supported. It's the feeling of flow returning, the sense of being guided instead of pushed, the shift from surviving your life to moving with it. And that's what this video is about. Not money, not manifestation hacks, but the deeper spiritual current that allows support, clarity, and opportunity to move toward you. I'm Kaththea. Welcome to Ascended Spirit Amplifiers. If you're drawn to the kind of abundance that rises from within and radiates outward into every part of your life, creating ripple effects for everyone around you, settle in and let's begin. Why I created Abundance Flows to Me. I didn't create this melt because I wanted wealth of the monetary kind. I created it because I wanted alignment, the kind that begins in the spirit long before it ever shows up in the physical. At the time, I was beginning to understand something that many of us feel but rarely name. That abundance isn't just about resources, it's about receiving, capacity, and connection. I could see the direction my healing was taking me. I could feel the shift in my path. I knew I was being called into a higher timeline, one that required me to open, soften, and allow support in ways I hadn't before. This melt blend was created during a moment of clarity, not crisis. A moment where I realized that abundance isn't something you chase, it's something you grow into. I made this blend as a tool for myself and for anyone who needed it. A reminder that support is not a reward for suffering, that receiving is not selfish, and that abundance is a frequency we return to, not a prize we earn. This blend and meditation are for anyone who's ready to return to flow, to move from tension into trust, from bracing into receiving, and from surviving into alignment. It's not about calling in financial gains. It's about calling in alignment, clarity, and capacity, and how they affect the ability to recognize the blessings already abundantly flowing in your life. These are the foundations of gaining true abundance. Abundance flows to me ingredient lineage. Every ingredient in this blend carries a history, not just an energy. These aren't random prosperity correspondences. They are tools that have been honored across cultures, timelines, and traditions for their ability to stabilize, clarify, and expand the human spirit. This is just a portion of their lineage. Beeswax. Beeswax has been used for thousands of years in spiritual practice, from ancient Egypt to Greece to indigenous cultures worldwide. It represents community, structure, and divine order. Egyptians used beeswax in temple offerings and embalming rituals because it was believed to hold and preserve spiritual intention. In many cultures, beeswax candles were the only ones allowed on altars because they burn clean, steady, and true. Beeswax is the foundation, the hive, the structure, the container that holds the frequency of abundance without distortion. Citrine. Citrine has been honored across cultures as a stone of clarity, confidence, and solar energy. In ancient China, it was called the merchant's stone, not because it brought money, but because it brought discernment, clear thinking, and wise decision-making. In Greek and Roman traditions, citrine was associated with Apollo, the god of truth, light, and prophecy. Citrine doesn't attract wealth. It clears the fog so you can see opportunities already around you. Pyrite. Pyrite has been used by indigenous cultures in the Americas for thousands of years, often polished into mirrors for divination and protection. The Inca called it the stone that sees, using it to reflect truth and shield the spirit from energetic interference. In African and Mediterranean traditions, pyrite was carried as a talisman of strength, stability, and grounded confidence. Pyrite doesn't bring luck, it strengthens your capacity to hold what comes. Black obsidian. Obsidian is one of the oldest spiritual tools on Earth, used by the Aztecs, Mayans, Greeks, Celts, and countless indigenous cultures. It is a volcanic glass born from fire, pressure, and transformation. Mesoamerican priests used obsidian mirrors for shadow work, truth seeing, and clearing illusions. In many traditions, obsidian is the stone of energetic honesty. Obsidian doesn't protect you in this frequency. It reveals what needs to be released so abundance can move freely. Money plant blossoms. The money plant has been used in European folk magic for centuries, not for wealth, but for growth, renewal, and cyclical expansion. Its translucent seed pods were seen as symbols of the moon, intuition, and natural unfolding. In many cultures, it represents organic prosperity, growth that happens without force. Money plant energy teaches that abundance grows where energy is tended, not pressured. Lotus plumules. The lotus is sacred across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. In Buddhism, it symbolizes enlightenment, rising from the mud. In ancient Egypt, the blue lotus represented rebirth and divine awakening. In Hinduism, it is the seed of the gods, purity, clarity, and spiritual expansion. Lotus plumules carry the frequency of emergence, rising into your highest timeline without rushing the process. Myrrh. Myrrh is one of the oldest sacred resins on Earth, used in ancient Egypt, Judaism, Christianity, and traditional African medicine. Myrrh is a symbol of sanctity, grounding, and spiritual authority. It was burned in temples, used in anointing rituals, and carried as a protective offering. Myrrh anchors your intentions into the physical, helping spiritual alignment translate into real-world support. Sweet orange. Citrus has been used in Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Asian traditions for centuries as a symbol of joy, vitality, and emotional renewal. In Chinese culture, oranges represent good fortune and the return of positive energy. In Ayurveda, citrus is used to uplift the spirit and clear stagnation. Sweet orange brings warmth, optimism, and creative flow back into your field. Lang Lang. Native to Southeast Asia, Lang Lang has been used in Indonesian, Filipino, and Polynesian traditions for heart opening, calming, and emotional balance. It softens the nervous system, eases tension, and opens the heart to receiving. In many cultures, it is used in ceremonies of union, harmony, and connection. Lang Lang teaches the body how to receive without bracing. Why they work together. Each of these ingredients carries its own lineage, but together they form a coherent, energetic technology. Beeswax provides the structure. Citrine brings clarity. Pyrite stabilizes your capacity. Obsidian clears the pathways. Lotus and money plants open the channels of natural growth. Myrrh anchors the intention. Sweet orange lifts the emotional field, and Lang Lang softens the heart so receiving becomes possible. This blend works because abundance isn't a single frequency. It's a network of aligned states: clarity, grounding, openness, capacity, joy, and trust. When these ingredients come together, they don't attract abundance. They restore the inner conditions that abundance naturally responds to. They bring your spirit, your energy, and your nervous system into the same frequency. The frequency where flow can finally meet you. The power of making your own abundance tool. Tools don't create abundance. You do. But when you make a tool with intention, your energy becomes amplified. Across cultures, people created their own spiritual tools not because the object held the power, but because the act of creation awakened something inside them and the tool. When you craft your own abundance tool, whether it's this melt, a candle, a charm, or a ritual, you're not summoning anything outside of yourself. You're activating the part of you that already knows how to receive, how to expand, and how to move with flow instead of force. You're telling your spirit, I'm ready to participate in my own alignment. That's why these tools work. Not because they replace your power, but because they reflect it back to you, clearly and without distortion. The smelt isn't the source of abundance. You are. The melt simply amplifies the intention, the clarity, and the capacity already alive within you. Abundance flows to me, the creation process. You will need the following to create your own Abundance Flows to Me wax melt. 12 ounces of beeswax pellets, 2 tablespoons of organic, unrefined virgin coconut oil, 60 drops myrrh essential oil, 100 drops sweet orange essential oil, 80 drops lang lang essential oil, 1 teaspoon each of citrine, pyrite, and black obsidian, small pieces, 1 teaspoon money plant blossoms, and 1 teaspoon of lotus plumules. This recipe makes 6 large melts that can be cut into quarters for extended use. All tools and ingredients are linked in the description box. No sponsorships, no contracts, just what actually works for me. I do make a small commission if you buy through the links. The storage jars and cookie sheets can be found at the Dollar Tree. Step 1. Prepare your workspace, where alignment begins. Set up your wax warmer or hot plate in a well-ventilated area. Lay out your pot, stirrer, thermometer, and molds. Gather your gemstones and botanicals and pre-measure your essential oils. This is where abundance begins. Not in the wax, but in your presence. The abundance frequency doesn't open through force. It opens through alignment. Step 2. Melt the beeswax, the foundation of flow. Add 12 ounces of beeswax to your pot and melt it over low to medium heat, around 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Beeswax melts slowly on purpose. It teaches you to move with steadiness, not urgency, the same way abundance moves. Stir gently as it liquefies, letting the golden wax mirror the warmth, clarity, and flow you're calling back into your life. Keep the temperature steady, never above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Too much heat burns the wax and dulls the oils. Flow doesn't come from rushing, it comes from presence. Step 3. Add coconut oil, softening the structure. Once the wax reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit, remove it from the heat and add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. This softens the final melt and improves scent diffusion. It's the reminder that abundance doesn't require rigidity. You can be structured and soft at the same time. Step 4. Infuse the essential oils. Breath of expansion. Let the wax cool to 135 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature where essential oil stays potent. Then add 60 drops myrrh, representing grounding, stabilizing, and anchoring, 100 drops of sweet orange essential oil for joy, optimism, and emotional openness, and 80 drops of Lang Lang for heart softening, receiving, and nervous system ease. Stir slowly, letting the scent become warm, uplifting, and expansive. A breath that says, I'm allowed to receive, I'm allowed to expand, I'm allowed to be supported. This is where the melt shifts from ingredients to intention. Step 5. Prepare the molds. Build the altar of abundance. Before pouring, prepare each mold like a tiny altar. Into each cavity, add 1 teaspoon of citrine for clarity and confidence, 1 teaspoon of pyrite for capacity and stability, 1 teaspoon of black obsidian, truth and release, 1 teaspoon of money plant blossoms, representing organic growth, and 1 teaspoon of lotus plumules for emergence and alignment. These botanicals and stones don't just decorate. They anchor the melt in clarity, capacity, and natural expansion. This is where the melt becomes a tool, not because of what it looks like, but because of what you're placing into it. Step 6. Pour the wax, the first layer of receiving. Pour a thin layer of wax into each mold. This helps the botanicals settle and prevents floating. Let it thicken slightly, not fully set, just enough to hold. This first layer is like the first moment of receiving, subtle, quiet, but strong enough to support what comes next. Step 7. Add the remaining wax. Let abundance take its shape. Once the first layer grips the ingredients, pour the remaining wax slowly over the top, like flow filling a space that forgot it was allowed to receive. Pour with intention, knowing this tool is being built to amplify your alignment, not replace it. This is where the melt becomes whole, where the ingredients become a vessel, where your intention becomes form. Step 8. Let them set. Do not rush the flow. Allow the melts to cool naturally for a minimum of 24 hours. No freezer, no fridge, no rushing. Abundance opens in stillness, patience, and trust. Let the melts honor that. Once fully cooled, remove them from the molds and store them in an airtight container. They're ready for your next moment of choosing alignment, clarity, and flow. Before we move into the meditation, I want to remind you of something essential, something that matters even more in abundance work. Meditation and energetic practices are deeply personal. Receiving is personal. Flow is personal. No one can tell you what abundance should feel like in your body or look like in your physical reality. No one can tell you how ease should land in your nervous system. No one can tell you what support is supposed to sound like in your spirit. Your relationship with abundance has its own rhythm. Your capacity has its own language. Your receiving has its own way of opening. Some people feel warmth. Some feel expansion. Some feel nothing at all. And that is still a response. Abundance doesn't open through force. It doesn't open because you visualize hard enough. It doesn't open because someone tells you it should. It opens when you stop trying to call it in and start allowing yourself to be met. I always encourage you to move from your own inner command, not from my voice, not from anyone else's expectations, not from what you think abundance is supposed to look like. Take what resonates, leave what does not, and follow what feels true in your body. Your meditation doesn't have to be vivid to be real. It doesn't have to be emotional to be powerful. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. It only has to be yours. This is your receiving, your alignment, your return to the flow that has always been moving towards you. Abundance flows to me. meditation. Take a slow breath in and let your body settle. Not into effort, not into expectation, just into presence. Feel the weight of your body where it rests. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs. Feel the way your energy begins to soften the moment you stop trying to manage it. You are not here to force anything open. You are not here to chase anything down. You are not here to call in what already knows how to find you. You are here to receive. Let your breath deepen. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your nervous system remember what ease feels like. With your next inhale, imagine your energy widening, not reaching, not grasping, just gently expanding into the space around you. With your exhale, release the tension that says you have to earn your way into flow. You don't. Feel into the space just beneath your sternum, the place where your confidence, your clarity, and your capacity live. Place your awareness there, not to change anything, just to notice. Say quietly within yourself, I am allowed to receive. I am allowed to be supported. I am allowed to move with flow. Let those words land in your body, not your mind. Now imagine a gentle current moving toward you. Steady, warm, unhurried. This is abundance in its true form. Support, clarity, opportunity, and alignment. All moving at a pace your spirit can hold. You don't have to reach for it. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to prove anything to deserve it. Just allow it to meet you. With each breath, feel that current move closer. Not rushing, not overwhelming, just arriving. Feel it touch the edges of your energy. Soft, warm, familiar. Feel it move inward, filling the places where you once held tension, fear, or doubt. Let this current open the deeper layers of your energy, the places where memory, presence, and possibility all live at once. And now, let it touch your past, softening the places where you learned to brace. Let it touch your present, opening the space where receiving becomes possible. Let it touch your future, clearing the path that is already unfolding for you. Let it remind you, you are not separate from abundance. You are not behind. You are not blocked. You are not forgotten. You are simply returning to the frequency that has always been yours. Take one more slow breath in. And as you exhale, notice what's settling in your body right now. And let that meet you in its own way. If it feels natural, bring a hand to your heart and let a quiet sense of gratitude rise for your breath, for your path, for the presence of your spirit and the energies that walk with it. When you're ready, gently bring your awareness back into the room. Not leaving the frequency, you are now carrying it with you. This is another path to your receiving, another path to your alignment, another path to your return to flow. Thanks for watching. If something in this video resonated with you, honoring that with a like helps this work find the people who are meant to see it. And I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. It's always beautiful to see how these messages land for different people. And by all means, share it with anyone you think might benefit. If you want to keep exploring with me, make sure you're subscribed. I share new videos every week, and each one builds on this journey in its own way. Please never forget, my intent is your ascent. See you next time.